those of you that don't know me, my name is Brett Strickler. I host a vlog called Fatty Confessionals, um, and with my wife Brittany, and we kind of we document our weight loss journey, and our kind of our journey through life too. And part of that is talking about health problems and things that come up along the way. And one of my most recent health issues that I found out about is that I needed a hearing aid at the age of 31. I've kind of suspected it for years, and just haven't hadn't really addressed it. And I finally, on back in March, it got to the point where the tinnitus that I had, which is the for those of you that don't know, if you have tinnitus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've never had it, what it is it's just a constant ringing in your ears. If you've ever been to a rock concert or any kind of concert really, and afterwards you go into a quiet room and you just kind of got this sound, that's tinnitus. And mine went from being on occasion to just being absolutely constant about 2 months ago. And I thought it was, figured, all right, maybe it'll go away. Unfortunately, it didn't. So I made an appointment with an audiologist, and got checked out, and actually went to Sam's Club to get a hearing test done. For those of you that don't know, Sam's Club does free hearing tests. So does Costco. And I got diagnosed with hearing loss. It's primarily in my left ear. My right ear is borderline needing a hearing aid, but my left ear definitely needed one. And so the doctor kind of went through everything, went over everything with me, went over my options. The first appointment was about an hour and a half. And it was very eye-opening. Just how expensive hearing aids are. I knew it was going to be expensive. I knew it was going to be pricey, but I just didn't realize how expensive it was. So the one that I got is, I'll take it off. You can't even really tell that I'm wearing it right now, but let me figure out where the camera's at. There we go. It's right there behind my ear. I'll take this out real quick. It's a Widex hearing aid. It's super small, and this is the part this is the receiver, and this is the speaker right here. Trying to get the focus. Sorry, guys, but super small. So I got the Widex Evoke 440, and just taking it off right now, it sounds really super muffled in my left ear. Like it's insane the difference between having the hearing aid in and having the hearing aid out. They initially, when she fit my hearing aid, she gave me a couple of options for hearing aids. Let me try out a couple of them, and this is the one I settled on because it had it has a tinnitus program built into it. Let me show you guys. It's actually got Bluetooth capabilities on it. So you go into your phone. It's got this awesome app that lets you go through, and you can create different programs. You can see I've got a whole bunch of programs for a bunch of different situations. Right now it's just on my home program, but the tinnitus program is called the Zen program. You can see the other one over here says Home Zen. What it does is it puts a fractal tones in your ear, and it's not, how do I describe this? So fractal tones are kind of, it never repeats. It's a tone that never repeats. So what it does is it kind of masks the tinnitus, and it's great. So when I'm having issues with the tinnitus, because it does still happen occasionally, um, what I do is I turn the Zen program on, and it almost immediately I get relief, and it goes away. Um, the worst part of the tinnitus is how just grating it gets, and how it keeps you from being able to focus um, on anything really. And I was using for years using music to mask it, and it just doesn't work. Just regular music doesn't work that well. Um, and What's going on, Brad? But Yeah, the last month has just been eye opening, just how much hearing I had actually lost. Um, it I didn't realize how much trouble I was having in conversations and in loud environments like restaurants, or if I'm out walking, like in our parking lot here, we're right next to, we're probably about 300 yards off the tollway. So there's a lot of white noise from the cars zipping by at 70 plus miles an hour. Um, and I would, my wife and I'd be walking out to the car having a conversation, and I just have to look at her and go, honey, we're going to have to wait until we get to the car. I can't hear you, because I would lose her voice in in the noise. I could stare straight at somebody, in because I work in a call center type environment, and I could be looking straight at somebody like this. They're 3-4 feet away from me, and I lose them completely, and I'm just sitting there with a blank stare, and sorry, man, I lost everything you just said. Can you say that again? And then I'd find myself doing this to kind of help channel the sound into my ear, and it was just getting bad. Um, but when I ordered the hearing aid, I wound up, like I said, with the Widex Evoke 440. It's a little on the expensive side. It was $3,600 before insurance. 32, and after insurance, it was initially $3,200. I got back about $700-800 after they submitted a claim to my insurance. So I think out of pocket total was $2,400 at the end of the day. But that's for one ear. So you can imagine if I had to have two hearing aids, it would have been over $5,000. It with insurance, it's insane how expensive these things are. But oh my gosh, it is life changing. Um, when I went to my first fitting appointment, they initially put it in. Um, she turned it down about halfway to get me used to it, and I was like, okay, yeah, that definitely it cleared things up a lot. I could hear, and it almost felt like this ear was now muffled even more than it was previously, because I could hear for the first time. There was tones that I could hear, sounds that I could hear that I wasn't hearing before. And then I was like, well, this is pretty good. Let's try turning it all the way up. And as soon as she turned it all the way up, guys, y'all, I got so dizzy and nauseous, because it completely threw me off and threw off my balance. And so I told her right away, I was like, hey, we got to turn that back down. So she dropped it down one notch. So she had me at a setting 3 out of 4. And that worked. I didn't have everything sounded super loud, because I wasn't used to hearing anymore. So I sat at that for about 2 weeks. And it slowly, I got used to it. Using the app, I was able to, create a bunch, as I showed you guys earlier, create a bunch of programs for different environments. I've got work. I've got one for outside when we're walking. I've got some for home. Got some for being in the car, restaurant. Pretty much any situation I've run into, I've tried to create a custom profile for it. that way. Because what it does is it actually uses machine learning, and what you do is you come in and you can click Sound Sense Learn right here, and what it does is it gives you a come on, focus. Ah. Just asks you where you are, what is your hearing goal. So like if I was in a movie theater, it would say, okay, what's your hearing goal? Well, obviously my hearing goal in a movie theater is going to be, you know, reduce noise or, focus. And you go through and it gives you two different sound profiles to choose from. Do you like A better or do you like B better? And then it gives you a little slider to adjust how much better it is. And it takes about 10 minutes to run through the setup of each program. But oh my gosh, it's just absolutely insane the difference um, that it makes in your daily life. Um, I noticed, like I said, I wasn't missing out on conversations anymore. I wasn't dropping words. It was really frustrating to have to sit there and just miss complete sentences from people and just have to ask people to repeat themselves. As frustrated as people would get with me sometimes, it would be even worse for me because I would get frustrated with myself because I felt like I was like it was my fault that I was missing this when it wasn't. It was my hearing was damaged. Um, my doctor thinks it's genetic, but I'm fairly certain that it's from rock concerts, from work going to air shows, going working on flight lines for better part of a decade without hearing protection or without using my hearing protection properly. And that's one regret I have is not taking care of my hearing. So if I could give anybody one piece of advice, anybody that's any younger folks out there, use hearing protection, especially in concerts, at music festivals, whatever. I know those foam earplugs, you think you're invincible at that age, but dude, they're so worth it. If you're going to a lot of festivals and stuff, it would be worth it to invest in the musicians earplugs, which are custom molded to your ears. And they actually help by lowering the decibels, but they keep the sound quality, so you don't miss out on anything in the concert. And personally, I would much rather have missed out on things in the concert than to be missing out on conversations in life, and to have to put a 25 plus $100 piece of technology in my ear. um but it's after my first appointment when I got fitted. About 2 weeks later, actually this past week, I went in. Or no, excuse me. About 2 weeks later, I went in and she uh, increased the volume up to the full volume, and that after it gave my ears some time to adjust to being able to hear things now. I didn't have to turn the TV up as loud. I haven't had to turn the radio up in my car as loud to hear it. I can actually hold a conversation with my wife and she's not having to feel like she's screaming. I've actually had to tell her, honey, can you kind of take it down a little bit? I can actually hear you now. And I didn't realize how much she was compensating for my hearing loss by talking louder until I got the hearing aid. And I'm sure other people around me were doing that too, and I didn't realize it. But it's so liberating to be able to hear again, and I'm hearing things like I haven't heard them in years. I made this comment to my wife the other day. We were driving and I went, wow, what's that? That's what the turn signal sounds like. Wow, that's different. Just the clicking noise of the turn signal when you turn it on in your car, it just totally changed in tonality. Little things like that I just never really realized I was missing that are there now. But once it got turned up, she set an appointment. My audiologist set an appointment with me to come back and do some real ear measures. What that is they put a probe inside your ear with the hearing aid in to verify that the hearing aid is set at your prescription properly. And it's really cool because they set it up. They hang this thing over your ear. It gets inserted. This tube gets inserted in your ear and sits against your eardrum, and it measures what's actually coming out of the hearing aid. A lot of places don't do that, and they really should. It should be standard practice for any hearing aid to have real ear measures done, because it's just I feel like it's critical to having a properly set up hearing aid, because you don't know if it's actually set up right and if you're actually missing stuff unless you have that real ear measurement done. And it thankfully mine was set completely it was set perfect. It was right in the right zones and hit everything it needed to hit. So now I'm good to go. I don't have to go back to my audiologist for 4 months. Now the good thing is, with that expense that I had to pay up front, that included batteries, that included wax guards, which are these little things that go on the tip. I should have grabbed some. But they go on the tip of the speaker behind the tulip, which is the little thing that kind of holds it in your ear. And then it also includes all of my appointments for, I believe, 3 years. So I don't have to worry about buying batteries. I don't have to worry about doing any of that stuff for 3 years, which is great. Because I don't know if anybody's looked at it. Hearing aid batteries are expensive. And having to buy them, I go through about one every 5 to 6 days. And that's going to depend on how often you use your hearing aid, how many hours a day. I wear mine on average 13 hours a day. Some days is longer, some days is shorter. I'm up and running by 6 in the morning. My hearing aid's in right before I run out the door at 7 o'clock. And it's not out of my ear until I go to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it's typically closer to 16 hours during the week. And then on the weekends, I'm sleeping later, of course, because it's the weekend. But yeah, it's been life-changing. And I am so thankful that we were able to afford that and make this happen. Yeah, it kind of set back some things we were planning in life, but your health has to come first. You have to take care of yourself, whether it's a hearing aid, whether it's getting medical attention for a condition that you have, whatever. Take care of yourself first. Everything else will fall into place later. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. It's something that, because I've neglected myself for so many years, that I've got to get back in that mindset. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm loving the Widex Evoke 440. It is honestly the best thing that I've had happen in years, for as far as health wise. And I don't know. That's about all I got. Brad, you got any questions? Anything? I'm gonna open up the seats here, and anybody wants to jump in. But yeah, I might start doing this, get vocal a little bit more, and see what this how this goes. Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, yeah, just get with an audiologist. You can get your hearing test done at Costco and Sam's Club, but be super careful, because with the research that I've done, they lock their their hearing some of their hearing aids, like their store brand ones, like the Kirkland Signature ones, they're locked so that only Costco can go ahead and make adjustments to it. You can't take it into a an audiologist and have anything done to it. The there's a guy I found on YouTube. Oh gosh, what is his name? Give me a second here. I'm gonna look it up real quick. That I watched. He's a doctor of audiology, and he's just a wealth of information. And yeah, that'll I could see that happen. Definitely get to an audiologist, Brad. If any I can make any suggestion, just go talk to an audiologist, have a hearing test done. Or at least go to, if you've got a Sam's Club or a Costco membership, go in there and tell them, hey, I want to get a hearing test done. It's free. There's no obligation. Don't let them try to pressure you into buying anything. Just tell them, hey, I just, you let them go through their spiel, and they're going to hit you with the price, and it's going to be astronomical. But that's the same problem that I had. And the hearing aid right now, it's cut it out completely. The tinnitus or tinnitus, however you want to call it, is gone. I got relief from it within hours after putting the hearing aid in, and it just blew my mind. I've had issues with it off and on for years, and I was saying earlier, I got it. It just started getting worse and worse and worse, and just finally became where it was constant 24/7. I had to have a fan on and the TV going at night to even sleep, because I couldn't get past it. I still have I still use music at work to focus. I'm trying to find that doctor again. Hang on a second. What is his name? Dr. Cliff, AUD. Just search for Dr. Cliff Audiology online, and you should be able to pull him up. Now, the only problem is I can no longer wear earbuds. So, and even with these kinds of headphones, the big professional ones, if I set it over my ear, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this, but it causes feedback. So I kind of have to keep that over there. But I bought a pair of headphones. I'm gonna go grab them real quick, actually. They're really cool. They're called Bone Conduction headphones. Give me a second here. All right. Yeah, they're called Bone Conduction headphones, and what they do, they look like this, and they wrap around the hitting buttons here with my mouse. They wrap around my head, and they sit right in front of my ears, and just kind of sit on the temple, and it puts the sound in, but it leaves my ear canal open, so I don't have to worry about the hearing aid being there. Now, it does push my ear out a little bit with the hearing aid, so the hearing aid becomes a little more obvious, but I don't care. And I feel like it works better. I can hear things better, and I can still sit there and have a conversation with somebody. Yeah, let me get the name of these again and put them in chat here. So they're a brand name called Trex. TREK, or Aftershocks. And I'm going to put the link in the chat room here. These are the ones that I have. They have a few different ones. It's After, and then SHOKZ. And hey, Lakesh. Um, and they're really, really awesome. And I love them. They, like I said, they keep my ears open so I can have a full conversation while still listening to music. They function on Bluetooth. I usually, when I'm running a day at work, I don't wear them right away when I first get in, so I put them in. I start my day about 7:30. I put them on the charger. They're usually charged by 8:15, 8:30, and then they'll last me until the end of the day. I didn't put these on the charger after work yesterday, so I'm gonna turn. It says there the battery power is at. Battery power still says 100%. I find that a little hard to believe, but they usually last about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how loud I listen to them at. The louder I listen, obviously, the shorter the battery life. But I work in a relatively low noise environment, so it's not that big of a deal for me to have them on low. But if you're out in an area where there's a lot of background noise, obviously you're going to burn up the battery faster. But I love these headphones. Best $100 I ever spent. I got them at Sam's Club with a deal. They came with like a water bottle, a sweat rag, and this really weird little fanny pack thing. And I'm like, I chose these because I did a lot of research on the bone conduction headphones. And these ones were the ones that were in my price range, and I found them at Sam's Club and I tried them on. And because they had a demo pair that was sitting there. So I tried them on, played with them a little bit, and just the sound in general was amazing right off the bat. And that was before I got my hearing aid. So I was like, all right, well, we might consider that after I get my hearing aid, just to get them, get a pair. And I did, and they're really great. But yeah, that's kind of, I think that's where I'm going to end this. But any of the bone conduction ones, I definitely highly recommend them. There's a lot of different brands out there. If you just search bone conduction headphones, there's everything from the $90 Trex, $100 Trex titanium, all the way up to Bose has some that are in the hundreds of dollars range. But I'm not Captain Moneybags over here, so went with the cheap end ones for now. And the sound quality is great. They sound better than any earbuds I've ever had. They're not as good as obviously a full on like professional recording quality headset, but they're really good. I like them. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the seats though, and if anyone wants to jump in, hey Stacy. Just kind of talking about been talking about my hearing aids and what it's like having a hearing aid. And you missed it, but that's this little thing back here is the majority of my hearing aid. Doesn't even stick out really. Yeah, they've really come a long way from where they once were. I'll show it again for everybody that missed it. That's the whole hearing aid right there. That's it. Like right now, like I said earlier, it sounds really muffled when I take it out, and it's a huge noticeable difference when I don't have it in. It's unreal. But if you guys want to jump in, you got any questions for me, feel free. I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, they definitely are better than the old school huge beige ones they used to have. They do have different colors. I did get to choose my color. I got a really like a navy blue and white one, and it's got like a silver stripe on the back of it. Where the other this little thing here and here's a button. I can change programs between the ones that the doctor set up. Unfortunately, the only thing I don't like is they can't put my preferred presets that I set up onto the presets that are on the button. That's my only gripe about the Widex. And that may be the case with any of the hearing aids, and I really hope these hearing aid manufacturers come up with a way to do that, because it's got to be something in the code that could be super simple that they can change on. But yeah, what's going on, Tony? And yeah, I was talking with my aunt, and they do work through my phone's Bluetooth. Unfortunately, the Widex are exclusively for iPhone, and I've got an Android, and I refuse to get an iPhone. But I really didn't care about like music streaming through it because I've only got one hearing aid right now, so it really doesn't bother me that much that I've only got that I can't stream phone calls and stuff through it. But it's got an awesome app that I can use to get through to put different settings on it. Like I've got different situations, work, home. It's got a tinnitus program in it, and it's just amazing. And it's definitely helped me out a lot with as far as getting being able to hear more and hear better in those situations where there's a lot of background noise. But I think that's going to be it for me right now, guys. I'm going to start doing this. My wife and I are going to start using Get Vocal more, and try doing a weekly show on here, just do our weekly life updates, because we do a vlog or vodcast, however you want to call it, called Fatty Confessionals. We do like cooking videos, and we're low carb / keto / dirty keto kind of me. But we've combined I've lost about 100 pounds. I hit 100 pounds. I gained a little back because I got lazy and demotivated for a little while, but I'm getting back into it. I gained about 10 pounds back, so I'm at about 90 pounds lost right now, in just over a year. And my wife's at about 40 pounds lost. So combined, we've lost almost 140 pounds. And I've got a long way to go. At my heaviest, I was at 545. I'm now at 452. So I'd like to get down below 300 again eventually, but it's something that's gonna it's gonna come with time. But we're gonna do more of these, guys. I really like this platform, and I'm gonna stop it here. But thanks for joining me, and I appreciate you guys coming in, and we will see you guys soon. Take it easy.